What's up, fan base? It's your boy Blaze Holla coming at you again. But instead of the What If, I'm bringing you a rant episode with my boy Ed.
Hey guys, how's it going?
He's going to be here to try to keep me a little bit under control because there's a few things that I've been looking into that irk me, not only for my own stuff, but some of my buddy Ed's work. Oh yeah, Ed doesn't know this part that I'm going to also be railing him a little bit in this episode.
Oh, great.
So, is there anything you want to say to the audience, Ed, before we begin?
Guys, part 19 of All for One is going to be a bloody mess. So, yeah, be careful.
Also, do you want to tell the fan base that you're currently working on part, I think it's 3 of Hormone Deku?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Like, not as we speak, but I'm working on it, like, later after this is out.
I just want to let you fans know that I have been having stuff being done. It just takes me a while. So don't keep on thinking that I've quit YouTube, because I haven't.
Yeah, guys, don't worry about it. He's still alive. If he's not doing anything, it's mainly because of me, because we like to chat. We're not talking about what ifs. And
Or
when we do chat, we do talk about what ifs.
Well, also, there's a current thing that you've been having me work on, Ed, for some of your what ifs, and that's no moves. Yes, my good fan base.
Yeah, please don't. I would like to keep them a surprise
Oh,
for
don't
the
worry.
series.
I'm not going to tell them what they're for or what they're about. I'm just letting my fan base know that yes, I not only create OC characters for my own stories, but I create creatures for my friends and for myself. I believe in a theory, well, not really a theory, a philosophy, actually, that if you're going to do something, best do it yourself.
Wise words. Wise words.
Now, I have a few series that I do want to be bringing up. I'm going to be bringing this up in certain ways from certain characters from my hero. I have a few things with Fate that I've been working on that I might bring up to my fan base here, and maybe Ed might learn something.
Ha ha ha. But go on ahead.
For those who don't know, a lot of Ed's research for some of his videos comes from me because he doesn't like taking the extra mile.
Yeah, that's what I have you for. Ba-dum.
Hey, it's fair. That's why I have him as my editor, because he can do it and I can't.
Oh, I barely can do it.
Well, your barely is better than nothing. So,
Yeah.
So there are a few things that I want. So I'll start this off with. I'm going to start off with some My Hero rants that I have, and actually, I'm going to go off of a rant that I held myself back with in Ed's video that we did a few minutes ago.
And if you'd like, it's on my channel, and link is going to be down in the description.
Yes, it will be because Ed handles the description. I don't do a lot of editing work, people. I create monsters, I create stories, and I give advice. I also look for research for people. But when it comes to computer stuff, I'm going to turn away and be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey guys, one more thing. If him creating nomus or monsters for other people does not make you think, holy shit, like there's gonna be a bloody mess in the USJ, well, just count on me to tell you, I told you so.
Oh, Ed, there's no preparing these people for what's to come. I'm finally released off of my chains. I am no longer restricted by your rules. I'm free, and I'm ready to bathe in the blood that I used to.
Yeah, I think we should call a therapist.
Hashtag does Blaze need therapy?
Yes, he does. Just write yes or no down in the comments.
Anyway, though, actually, wait. Wow, this is what. By the way, if you're noticing that we're stumbling over each other, this is non-scripted. This is completely on the top of our head. This is completely different from what I usually do. But before I forget, I want to put a shout out to my boy LR Sean. He will be linked in the description that I'll give to Ed. He is a YouTuber that used to like read out Baki chapters to fans on YouTube. But apparently, because of an audio problem, not really a problem on his end, but that YouTube has a problem with, 290 of his videos got flagged and were automatically taken down. I hear that he's going to try to fix the problem, but I just want to show him that one of his fans does support him and that he's here. So please do go check out LR Sean. Tell him that Blaze sent you and that you feel bad for him. Now we can move on. Oh boy.
Okay. I kind of thought you were going to send that to me for the hormone video, but oh well.
I thought I'll just do it here.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, how I was kind of put on pause for a rant during Ed's video when he brought up Stars and Stripes. No, I know a lot of you people are going to say, oh, Blaze is going to bring up Stars and Stripes because she was all powerful. She has very powerful quirks like he likes to create. No. I'm going to stop you right there.
She's her waifu.
No, she is not my waifu. Ed knows who my waifu is, and it's not Stars and Stripes. Yes, I will not deny that. Nina is my girl. I will buy that. But that is not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the injustice that was used for this character. She was brought in for, I don't remember how many chapters, I think it was about 5, maybe 6. And then she was killed off. Now I get it. She had a very powerful quirk that if it wasn't taken out of the equation, that it probably could have ended the series a lot sooner. But that's seriously no excuse. Because there could have been a lot more dialogue used here. We could have gotten some more All Might flashback stuff because apparently Star met All Might when he was in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like it was a waste that we didn't get to see many other heroes from the US. Case in point, like the Crawler. At the end of Vigilantes, he actually works in the US, the hero. I was hoping that they would maybe bring in some of those characters into My Hero for the final battle. I was very disappointed that they haven't. And even then, even minus the US, like other nations trying more backup, knowing the threat that All for One is. And I'm very disappointed that the only one that we got outside of Japan was Stars and Stripes, and she was just easily taken care of. It pains me. Anything you want to add on this point, Ed?
Not really, because whatever I had to say, I kind of said it like in my previous video.
Ed doesn't really have much opinions on half the things I do.
Well, this is basically your rant.
Well, of course, but when someone's ranting, you're always free to join in. Okay, well, Stars and Stripes aside, let's move into another thing that I've been irking me that's been seen on YouTube, and yes, I'm going to point a finger at a certain YouTuber, which is Anime Uproar, is bringing back the time travel theory. Oh my fucking god, the time travel theory. Can we please let this theory die? It's not going to happen.
And I must agree on that too, because yeah, Bakugo was mainly focused, other than Deku, as the main secondary character. But there's one thing I want to point out.
Go ahead.
The second user could be his relative, like this ancestor.
Which is something I would subscribe to because, like, that makes sense. Because when I look back on the theory that Bakugo was sent back in time by Eri, can we all get into the realization that back during the first and second user's time, quirks were still brand new, like they were nothing that flashy. And the fact if Bakugo was sent back in time, he would stick out like a sore fucking thumb. He would be everywhere. And
Another thing I
I
want
just,
to point out:
okay,
the second user's quirk has not been revealed yet at this point in time.
no, it has not, but it's been revealed to be something very monstrous that even it has locked within the quirk.
Or it's so explosive that only Bakugo's ancestors might have had in common with Bakugo.
The thing is, though, and I know a lot of people are probably going to give me a lot of hate in the comments section for this, and I know I'm probably going to hear from Ed later. I really don't think that the second user is related to Bakugo. I don't think he has anything to do with Bakugo. Just like how the people used to theorize that the third user was Kirishima. Turns out it wasn't. I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, you're going to hear it from me now.
Okay, here we go. You know, since this is a rant, go ahead, Ed. That's rant away.
I'll have to say you're right. My theory could be wrong. Everyone else's theory could be wrong. Because the only one who actually does know
Is
is the writer himself. We
okay.
can just speculate. We can just speculate.
No, and again, I'm not against speculation, but there's been so many people hammering in like this is a fact that the second user is either is Bakugo. I remember how much of a hype train that used to be when the second user was revealed. I was like, oh god.
But the thing is, I want to point out one thing though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's true about like what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing kind of remains unanswered.
And that is
That is simply the question is how?
how what?
Oh no, like I kind of forgot what you said, so like how, and I'm just trying to remember what you just said.
Bruh. Again, we are not professionals, and this is not supposed to be professionals. This is just a full-on rant. This is not a theory video, not a spite video. This is just Ed and I, mainly me, ranting.
Yep, it sounds right. So, could you please repeat what you just said?
Well, I said a lot of shit, but
No, regarding the. Oh yeah, I just remembered. I remembered. So yeah, I'm most likely going to cut off this part. Uh, yeah. So what I was saying was there was a flashback to
mm-hmm.
when the second user kind of found the first user,
Yes, I remember that panel.
and there was the second user having dark hair,
Yes.
which
Again,
is totally opposite than Bakugo. But then again, it could be again
shade.
ancestors.
Well, it's
But then
also
like another thing kind of hit me.
okay. Can I hold on? Let me pause you right there for a second before I continue.
Go ahead.
I also might say because how it was drawn later on when we got to see the second user up close that his hair was a lighter style. So you saying that his hair was darker could have to do with the shading because the fact that they were in some kind of underground place trying to free him. So just gonna play devil's advocate right there a little bit.
True.
But continue.
Okay, it's like in that panel,
Mm-hmm.
what was the second user holding in his hand?
I think like
Because I know for a fact it wasn't one of Bakugo's gauntlets. I know that
no,
for a fact.
I know that, and again, that's another thing that always swayed me away from this being Bakugo. But I always will stand by my belief. Another thing is that support items were probably a lot more in use than Quarks back then. So they
Hmm.
could just be something else, like some kind of accessory that he has. Doesn't mean that he automatically has like an explosion type quirk.
True.
I'm
And
just
regardless of whatever quirk it is, it's been enhanced nine, well, 8 times.
E.
So I don't like. No wonder why it was one of the most quote unquote powerful quirks at this point in time, which is why we don't know about it,
I
and it
still
being the last to
I
awaken.
I still believe, in my opinion, depending on what this second user quirk truly turns out to be, my favorite, and I think also has potential to be the most lethal, is Fa Jin.
Mm-hmm. But that was just a quirk, third user's quirk.
Yes. But what it's capable of is really, really dangerous depending if like whose hands it's in. You know?
Mm-hmm. And the question is,
Mm-hmm.
now the point here is, it's like, yeah, it's been enhanced
Mm-hmm.
of the stockpiling part.
Of course.
So, question is, how much more enhanced will the second quirk user's quirk be?
Well, I guess that really is the question there. But again, it also comes down to what does it do?
Yeah, because it could be like anything, really.
Right. There really hasn't been any indication that kind of sways us one way or another, besides people keep on trying to say he's Bakugo. And in my with all of my soul, I really want everyone to be wrong about that. I don't want it to be Bakugo. I don't care how much hate I'm about to get for that. It just would make no sense, and I really would have a bitter taste in my mouth the rest of the way reading My Hero.
But I do have another question for you, Blaze.
Go ahead.
What about the Airy quirk being a time machine?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. First of all, how is it that her ability goes from just resetting a person to actual time travel? That makes no sense. And okay, that's even for some reason we're able to turn it into that. How the hell does she control it? There's no way because she has a hard time just controlling her rewind ability as is. Now we're just gonna say she has the ability to pinpoint when to send you back in time. No, no, that's just straight up ridiculous.
So I'm not the only one thinking that.
No,
I could understand if it was like, yeah, rewind someone to basically before the time of, well, them being injured, just like all one is using, to
here's the.
him to like, rewind himself to back
In
when
my
he was. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna quote something from one of your series, Ed. I kind of see Eri as a human sensu being.
Yeah,
She,
Sensibine.
for all of you who loves Ed's channel for his Dragon Ball Z Universe story, go check it out. You'll understand why the joke is there. Um, but yeah, that's really what she is because she's technically a group medic, and I know a lot of people saying, "Well, that's not true because Eri's not always with them." But on the counterpoint on that, every time she's in an arc or with certain people that need to be fixed, she fixes them. Case in point with Deku against Overhaul, and then later on in the war with Lemillion.
Yeah, but I do have one question.
Yes.
So I kind of forgot to bring this up in my video,
Go ahead.
But I want to say one thing.
Okay.
Was since All for One is able to revert himself back to before the fight with All Might, would
Mm-hmm.
Eri be able to bring All Might to the point where he fought before All for One?
See, have had thoughts on that, and I'm not against it. The question is, though, does Eri doing that within All Might create a paradox within the One for All grid?
I would definitely say not really, because Deku has the quirk. All
Yes.
Might, his his embers have turned into like a temporary flame. So there's like a rekindled flame there.
Do I
And
think
that might last similarly how the embers lasted for the Battle of Camino.
do I believe that this is possible? Yes. Would I like this better than what most people are theorizing? Yes. I would not mind, even though it irks me to have All Might come back when this is Endeavor's time to take the spotlight back. I would rather take that than having to deal with the time travel theory.
But the thing is, I would say if he has to come back, because at this point in time, we don't know where All Might is or what he's doing.
That is very true.
The same
Last
thing goes for Eri. We don't know where she is, nor what she's doing.
right. The only thing that we've seen is something like an image from All for One's mind of Eri. Does that mean he's gotten a hold of her? No, because I guarantee all of you that if she was captured, all of UA would be on that right now. Screw whatever happened to Tartarus. Screw whatever is going on in the city, because if All for One has a hold of Eri, they're screwed.
Yeah. And another thing I might add.
Okay.
So how I said about, yeah, Deku being, being on the spotlight and all that, like All Might returning, but if All
Mm-hmm.
Might returns, Endeavor has to die first.
Please
But in
don't.
this case, like, no. I'm not saying this as a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, yeah. But in this case, even All Might would also lose his life because his job as a symbol of peace ended. Because there is no peace.
All right. I'm going to take this as a neutral because I have
Take it
to.
with a grain of salt.
Huh?
Take it with like a little grain of salt. Because
Yeah.
yeah, with the whole thing of Endeavor's arc, redemption arc, still kind of going forward, it's
Ed,
like, yeah,
may I?
sure.
Okay. Before I even get into this, you all know that I am an Endeavor fanboy. He literally is my channel banner's mascot. And I even, in a lot of my what ifs, make Endeavor a lot better for the people than I will ever do for All Might. Do I believe he will die? Sad thing is, yes. Because he's gone from being what people hated to what people can understand. And even now, he's redeemed himself in his family's eyes. And he's even tried to prove to us, the readers, that he has taken a true turnaround. With, with all of this done, his character has peaked. He has reached the plateau. And once usually a character plateaus, it's time to either have them be taken away to be like some kind of sensei later on when the story is done, or they are killed off to make the people around them stronger for their sacrifice.
Okay, now that you kind of said that about the plateau, there's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that remains.
Yes.
Question is, did All Might have this sort of plateau, or was it just given to him at the beginning?
No. You see, how we are watching All Might, or at least how I see it in my own opinion, he is still trying to convince himself, or basically redeem himself in his own eyes. He's feeling, since the battle with the USJ, even Camino, and even afterwards, that he wasn't able to guide the next generation. He feels like he never was able to do enough with the time that he had. Is he wrong in this situation? No. He could have done a lot more for not only himself, for the quirkless, for the neutrality. He could have done more. But how he went out kind of made it harder for him to do that. And this is where Ed's opinion, with All Might coming back to give like one final battle, to give one final speech, and give hope to the masses for the next generation. If that happens, that will be his peak. That will be his plateau.
Which is why, sadly, I think he'll die. Because
Right.
Deku will take over.
Right. If you haven't noticed, a lot of the previous top 10 has died within not only the first war, but also now coming into the second part of it. This is symbolizing that the previous guard has finally ended. It is time for them to pass on the torch to the next generation and let a new top 10 be born.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
And
happy?
can I say something, please, real quick?
Sure thing. Go ahead.
And it's not related to the video I said before, but it's
Okay.
like, yeah, with this going onwards, there is the chance of All Might return and having his last hurrah.
Right.
There's like a higher chance because, as we're seeing with Endeavor, or they could do it together.
See, now that is something I would hope for, because if they're able to work together in the end, they have truly overcome both of their differences and agree that neither one was wrong and neither one was right. Which means that at that point, they symbolize basically this is what it was of the past and this is what it is for the future. So now, with their deaths and their final hurrah, the next generation can finally pick up the torch, take the embers, and light the flame once again.
Mm-hmm.
With
So
that
yeah,
said,
that was my opinion.
and it's a good opinion to have, it kind of goes back to like my All for One series, where I believe, well, at least with the message I put across, that there are no terms as hero or villain. It's a blurred spectrum. It comes down to a case by case basis. And
Okay.
I'm starting to notice that a little bit more in the actual My Hero series. If you notice this, a lot of the villains, especially ones within the Vanguard, they were they were villains because they never got the proper help that they needed. They were shunned by society. They were looked down upon. They had tragedy placed upon them, and in either one of their instances, well, maybe Toya might be, or as most people will probably refer him as Dobby, might have had a chance, but all of them were either shunned or looked away from the help because they didn't know if they could trust anyone.
True that.
And that's kind of what I want to symbolize in my story. It's like behind every hero is a great villain, and behind every villain could be a great hero.
And behind a very great villain, there's a tragic story.
Yes. There's many things that I try to symbolize behind my writing, just like how I feel Ed sometimes tries to do too.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Um,
okay, Blaze. Do you want to wrap things up? We're at
I,
already 30 minutes.
well, I had a few more things I wanted to bring up, but I guess we'll talk about it next week when we do another rant together. Well, my great fan base, I hope that you appreciate this little rant and back and forth between Ed's and I's dialogue. But with all that said, I'm out. Let you all be blessed. Peace.